onto the circuit for the final time today, and it's going to be a 9-lap race for groups B and D. Chris Adams will be on row 5, the first of the Masters. Dennis Croce will be on row 7, the second of the Masters. Chris Graham will be on row 8, the third of the Masters. But it's these big hitters up the front. Maybe I shouldn't say big hitters. I don't mean they're dirty drivers. I just mean they count pretty good in terms of what you expect of them. And just in case Andreas Bachmann and Lucas Orrock isn't a good enough front row for you, as Chris has read out, Ben Cooper, the world champion, Matthias de Tige, the defending series champion. Is that good enough? Mika Laiho, the vice champion, just behind him. And Sandro Lukovic, Chris, definitely one of the drivers looking to a little bit of better fortune. He hasn't had the best rub of the green so far, capable of plenty. And just while I'm saying it, Sanad Al-Rawahi, so pleased to see a driver from Oman here at all and turning out to be really quite competitive.
He is, yeah. Sandro Lukovic, you mentioned there, as the cart's gone to the second formation lap. Had a second place finish earlier on, but then he got caught up in an incident and only ended up 15th in his second race. So Sandro in kart 653 really needs a good one. Really needs a good one here. He's 6th in the championship as well, so he's still in the hunt for the overall title. And yeah, you mentioned Sanad Al-Rawahi, done very well indeed, hasn't he? He has had a 6th place and an 8th place finish, and he can't be that familiar with this circuit. I know they've been testing for a few days, and he may have had a visit here before, but compared to, of course, the British drivers, he won't be at all familiar with this circuit on a grand scale. So he's done very well indeed. So leading them round towards turn 10 now and bunching up the field. There you can see to the left of your picture the green and white colours of Andreas Bachmann, one hand on the carburettor, and the blue and white colours of Lucas Orrock, potentially a pole position sitter for tomorrow if it goes well here. But Ben Cooper, with 2 wins out of 2, is right behind them, third on the grid. And Ken Walker is going to talk you through the starts of the final race of today.
Indeed. Does Lucas Orrock come up with another scintillating start from the outside of the front row? It's not easy to do, but Lucas has done it already once. Andreas Bachmann needing to be wary of the threat to his left, and of course the world champion's threat immediately behind him. And we are racing, and Andreas Bachmann does get a good start. Well, Lucas Orrock did not get quite such a sharp start. It's Ben Cooper who's gone through second and Mika Laiho third. And it's even down to 5th place for Lucas Orrock when I thought it was 4th. So not sure if that's Matthias de Tige in there. Don't think it is. But we do know the 1, 2 and 3. This is Andreas Bachmann. There goes a lovely move by Mika Laiho, going through into second place, and Ben Cooper just glancing over his shoulder, saying to himself, no doubt, right, let me just take stock. I'll just quietly move myself back into second place, and Mika Laiho can go behind me where I, Ben Cooper, believe he belongs, and I'll concentrate on this fabulous front row start by Andreas Bachmann, and eventually, in my own good time, I'll look where I'm going to make my challenge. However, Andreas Bachmann has different views. You may be the world champion. I'm going to show you the way home. That's the end of the opening lap. Andreas Bachmann, Ben Cooper, Mika Laiho, the 1, 2 and 3. Lucas Orrock is now up to 4th. That's at the expense of Matthias de Tige. And Sandro Lukovic went through in 6th place. Have to say that Ben Cooper isn't always noted for playing a long waiting game. And Lucas Orrock third. I'm sorry I didn't spot that. My thanks to Jill for pointing it out to me. And Mika Laiho thereby relegated to 4th. Well, Chris, I pose you the question. How long does Ben Cooper sit in second place before he makes a bid to go first? Well, the answer is, if that's not a bid to go first, it is a bid to put pressure on the race leader. And Andreas Bachmann now feeling the heat from the world number 1, the Canadian driver, beginning to crank up the ante. It's still Andreas Bachmann as we come to the end of the second lap, but Cooper piling on the pressure.
Well, second place would be good enough for Ben Cooper to get pole position. He'd have 2 wins and a second, slightly better than the 2 wins and a third of Zindarua. But Ben Cooper, the danger in sitting there in second place is that everybody queues up behind you and you start then to get into all sorts of trouble. So he's not the sort to sit there in second place. He's also got Lucas Orrick behind him, who's somebody else that if he gets in front, gets into the lead of the race, could get on pole position. He's gone for it, Lucas Orrick at the inside and into second place. Well, Lucas didn't have a very good first lap. What was he, fifth, wasn't it, at one point? He's back to second place now and showing a real determined drive and a real confident drive as well. He's got the speed today, absolutely. And now he's up to second place. So this is the third time in 3 races that Lucas has been in the top 2. He's had a win, a second. He's back in second place now. So he's vying for pole position. It's going to be tight between him and Zenderu if it stays like this. If Lucas gets the lead of the race, Lucas wins it. Lucas gets pole, doesn't he?
And the 2 other Belgians, Mika Laiho and Matthias Detige, having their own private little battle. Well, it's not quite as close as it was when I first glanced at it. But it's amazing how Belgium has produced these 3 fabulous racers in this class. And Mika Laiho and Matthias Detige, it's well documented by you and I that they've not perhaps been at their best, but giving it a good one on this one. Well, Andreas Bachmann is 3.5 laps into this 9-lap race. He still holds the lead. He's momentarily seen off the challenge of Ben Cooper because that challenge has been taken over by Lucas Orrick. And Lucas Orrick going with all the confidence in the world. And I'm going to repeat that word, Chris. That was a move of confidence as Ben Cooper also goes through.
Tremendous move from Lucas Orrick. Now he's in the box seat. Stays like this, he gets 2 wins in a second. And Lucas Orrick is the driver that will get pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. So I think he knows it as well, doesn't he? That's why he went for the move. Cooper is second. Third now is Andreas Bachmann. In 4th place, Mika Laiho's had a couple of 4th place finishes. Mika tends to go better on Sunday than he does on Saturday. He just gets himself in the mix on a Saturday, which is a sensible thing to do. So the Finn there in 4th place. Detige is definitely the most competitive he's been this season so far. Is there in 5th place. He just had that incident in his earlier race, which put him back down the order a bit. He's going for it. He looks very quick in 5th place, doesn't he? And he's now going on the attack, trying to get around the outside of Mika Laiho. These were the top 2 in the championship last year. Just behind them is the 6.53 card of Sandro Lukovic. He's had 1 good race, 1 bad race so far today. And the 6 of them are all bunched up now as they come out through turn 9 into the right-hander at turn 10. Through the camera shot they run. Just behind them in 7th place, Pascal Marchal. Pascal's had 2 7th place finishes already. This will be his 3rd. Christoph Adams in 8th place going well. The older drivers doing well today, aren't they, in the Masters category. Al Rahawi's 9th. Antti Ramo is up into the top 10 as well. Through they go onto the start of lap number 6 through turns 1 and 2. Ben Cooper closer than ever onto the tail of Lucas Orrick. He's taking with him the 3rd place card of Andreas Bachmann. Nobody can quite find a way through yet though, Ken.
Well, it's a good drive by Lucas Orrick, both when he's behind and wanting to attack for the lead, and when he's in front and defending, but he's been caught napping there. Oh, and it's even worse because Lucas Orrick, through no fault of his own, has been caught by, let me see, that's Andreas Bachmann. And Andreas Bachmann and Lucas Orrick go out of the race effectively, and Lucas Orrick, in the worst possible way, loses that opportunity for pole position, which you rightly identified was within his grasp.
And Matthias Detige with a move on Mika Laiho into the left-hander at turn 8 has gone second now. So Matthias Detige gone into second place. Ben Cooper leads. So now it looks like Ben Cooper that's going to get pole position. Not only is he in the lead, he's on for his 3rd win out of 3, but he's also 1.7 seconds clear of Detige. Laiho is 3rd. In 4th place, it's Sandro Lukovic. Pascal Marchal benefited from all of that. He's come up into 5th. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th altogether. A bit of a gap back then to Al Rahawi in 6th place. And it's side by side on the way into the hairpin here. What a move from Mika Laiho around the outside of Matthias Detige. And the Finn, quietly spoken, but he's speaking volumes out on the circuit with a terrific move to get 2nd place, equal to the move that Matthias Detige put on him in the lap before. So
and all that in really thick traffic, but all of that without any kind of contact.
Yeah, no, good clean racing that. So that all started, didn't it? That move down the hairpin when Ben Cooper got up the inside of Lucas Orrick. Lucas was offline. Andreas Bachmann tried to get in the mix as well, and they all came together.
Very unfortunate indeed. But Matthias Detige, we've said this before, the Finn who, I like the way you say it, he doesn't have a lot to say in words. He doesn't smile a lot even when he's on the top step of the podium, but he does his speaking on the track and he puts himself where he needs to be. Okay, he's not going to win this one in all probability, but it's looking pretty useful for him in championship points terms, and still we've got the action in third, fourth and fifth. Just took my eye off the ball a little bit there, but cart number 653, Sandro Lukovic, coming out of that in third place. Behind it, well, is he? No, he isn't, because Sandro Lukovic has lost out to both Pascal Marshall and it's Sanad Al-Rawahi who was also in that mix, wasn't it?
Yeah, Marshall's gone third. Titij and Lukovic were swapping positions as well on the way into turn 10. I think they swapped around again.
Yeah.
So Cooper leads going on to the final lap of the race. He's sorted, isn't he? 2.2 seconds clear. Mika Laiho is in second place. Third now is Pascal Marshall. And fourth place, Sandro Lukovic. Matthias Titij down to fifth. Al-Rahawi sixth. Antti Ramo seventh. Montfort eighth. Adams and Dryspring ninth and 10th in the race. Lucas Orrock out of the race. 3 laps down. Classified 15th. Disappointing for him. But he's still being qualifying and he'll still be sort of halfway up the grid, won't he, I would have thought.
If you can do what he did today, he can still make his presence felt tomorrow. Well, Chris, you unfortunately have a different engagement tomorrow, so please call them home for the final time today, and we'll hear your praise of Ben Cooper as he leads them home as a world champion would.
Yeah, he's kept his head, hasn't he? When there's been lots going on around him in all the races, he's kept solid. He hasn't done anything silly. He's timed his moves. He's been calculated. And Ben Cooper, well, the polar opposite of Belgium, where he had a rough time on the Saturday, he's got a great time today, and he wins the race. He takes the checkered flag for the final time today. 3 wins out of 3, and it will be Ben Cooper on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow, with the championship leader, Cinderua, I reckon, second on the grid after what's been a terrific day's racing here. So Ben Cooper wins. Mika Laiho's not going to be far away, is he, with a second and 2 fourth place finishes. Pascal Marshall also solid today for the German, a third in that race, 2 sevenths earlier on. Sandro Lukovic has had a second and a fourth and 1 bad result. Matthias Titij in 5th place has had a couple of good runs today. Al-Rahawi 6th, Ramo 7th, Montfort was 8th, Adams was the leading, by a long way actually, the leading Masters driver home in 9th place. Dryspring was 10th, Sewer was 11th, Franson was 12th, Batman was 13th, Kroos, Groen, and then the unfortunate Lucas Orrock, who had 0 points for his win, then picked up 2 points for second, but he's just got to add 16 to that now, so suddenly 18 points. He's sort of at, well, that's an average of 6th place, so it's not that bad, is it? But he really looked like he was going to get pole then for a while.
It's not bad, it's not insurmountable, but it's just not just, is it?
No, he'll be very, very miffed about that. But the way he's been going, if he can do this again tomorrow, he can still get onto the podium. So Ben Cooper, terrific drive by Ben, and 5th in the championship. If he repeats this sort of performance tomorrow, he's going to go into the final round in France as a real strong contender. But so much can happen tomorrow in the pre-finals and the finals. It's going to be a terrific day's racing, Kent. And we've had some terrific stuff, not just from DD2, but also from the juniors and seniors. And lots and lots to look forward to tomorrow for the final day.
Yeah, Chris, and looking forward to tomorrow, also looking back today, it really has been an amazing day's racing, hasn't it? You can just be truthfully negative and say we've had too many aborted starts, not criticising the official for the aborted start, but drivers just not getting it right. We've had some strange racing where guys have slowed things down and concertinaed people up, and that's caused the inevitable contact. But standing out like a beacon, some stunningly good driving, and as you've said in commentary, across all 3 classes. It really has, despite the negative aspects, been a great day's racing.
Absolutely terrific, yeah. I think we've had really good racing in Belgium and Italy, but for me, that's the best day so far. It hasn't been a dull race, hasn't been a dull moment, has there?